Got a cough drop in my mouth just because I seem to be fighting off some sort of summer cold. I usually don't do this, but my air conditioner is on just because it's hot. It's the middle of summer in Texas. Even at night we can get up to 80 degrees. So, and I'm planning to go to bed right after I've turned this camera off. Might even fall asleep on the floor. It's 3 in the morning. Normally when I get home at 3 in the morning, I'm not in a good mood, but I've only worked 2 days this week. Yeah, we've entered our slow season, finally. And so, like, last week even, I had like 1 3-hour day, actually. We've been, when I do show up, it's a pretty chill. Even if it's a long day, it's not a stressful one, because I can just, relax, let shit happen. But, this week, because like last week we had like 3 days where I showed up and they were like, we don't have any customers, you can leave if you want. And it kind of pissed me off a little, like, if you're just gonna tell me to go home as soon as I get here, couldn't you have just sent me a text 2 or 3 hours ago so that I don't waste an hour of my time walking here and walking back? So this week, 3 days in a row, I was told, we're not gonna open today, you have no reservations, don't come in. So I had a 5-day weekend and a 2-day work week. Fuck yeah. So I'm not gonna get a lot of money this week, for this week, but cause honestly between these 2 days I still got like 20 hours. So, but and also I'm getting 3 paychecks this month. It happens every now and then just because how the dates line up. I get 2 paychecks every month regardless. Every now and then, if the dates line up just perfectly. If the first day of the month is on a Friday, and that date is, and you happen to be getting a paycheck on that date, and then we have 5 Fridays that month, sometimes we magically get a random 3rd paycheck. It's great. It happens once or twice a year, usually in like, December, July, June. So it's a nice little bonus. So I can afford to not have busy weeks this time around. This is not a sponsored video, but I wanted to talk about this. I've been using Power Stick for years. Normally I'll go with like these things, the 2-in-1, like Cool Blast Hurricane. I tried this out because it was a new thing I saw on the shelf. The bottle is empty, ripped, reviving shower gel. It looked stupid, but I actually love it. It's weird, but it actually kind of feels like a lotion. It still got the same showering effect of this one, but afterwards my skin is like feeling like smoother, moisturized. You look at the bottle, this one has 2 ingredients that this one does not have, and this one has 3 ingredients that this one does not have. So there's a 5 chemical difference between them. And yeah, I love this one, so I'm gonna try and stick with it. Hopefully it wasn't a limited time thing and that they're still selling it. Let's hope. Cause but anyways, with all the extra time I've gotten way ahead of schedule on my book. I've kind of zoomed through it. It has now been edited twice, and there's going to be a 3rd edit coming. And then I'm going to contact, I gave my book to 3 people. One of them gave it back immediately. The other 2 I'm still waiting on. So once I get through my 3rd edit, contact them and be like, hey, what's up? Try to politely tell them, hey, it's taking you a while to get to this. Any word on when you're gonna get it back to me? I figured it might take 2 or 3 months anyways. I didn't think I'd be moving this fast, with my comic book work or with my own edits with this. But I don't mind them taking their time getting it right and giving me the best review that they can. But I'm probably gonna at least check in, because I haven't talked to either of them since I gave them the thing. Because like the one guy who did give it back, he gave it back in a week. And I'm pretty sure I remember telling you to read it 3 times. Read it once to experience it, once to understand it, and then the 3rd time as you're reading it, change every single word you see. Didn't necessarily do that. And it's actually my boss at work. We have some sort of relationship, hard to clarify. But, I like the guy a lot. It's just, in this case, for one thing, we're so different. We've lived such different lives. We're very different people. We're very different writers. There are a lot of things that he pointed out to me that he'll only point it out here or there. But I notice, that's a mistake that I make constantly throughout the book. Certain words or phrases that I tend to keep using over and over again. Times like I accidentally capitalize stuff that doesn't need to get capitalized, or forgetting to capitalize things that are supposed to be. So a lot of little things here and there that definitely 100% going to change. But there are times when he's like, he looks at something that I did by accident, and he seems to assume it's a choice. Once again, our writing styles are too different. Apparently, like, he's the kind of person that it's not ready for someone else to edit unless you've already edited it. And me, I'm like, nah, that's the exact opposite. Because if I've already dedicated, months of my life, years of my life to getting something as perfect as possible, that I'm a lot less likely to accept criticism. So, for me, this rough draft was entirely stream of thought. I put no actual effort into planning anything. It was just, I thought about this moment in my life, wrote down everything I remembered, then moved on to the next year. That's it. There was no purposeful thing put in there, really. So now I'm going through with this draft, and I'm doing it with a lot more intention, and I'm paying attention to a lot of the things he says, but about 80% of the things he said I'm ignoring completely, just because, as I'm going to tell him if he asks, you are not the majority of Americans. You cannot represent every reader, because the majority of Americans are not as ignorant as you. The majority of Americans have actually looked at a television in the past 40 years. It honestly, it reaches a point where if I reach any part of the story where I'm talking about anything media related, I just don't even look at his review, just because like he doesn't know anything. He's never looked at TV. He never watches movies. He the only music he knows is stuff that was out before he was born. So yeah, you're definitely not the core audience. The majority of Americans have heard of One Direction. The majority of Americans recognize Tupac and Vanessa Carlton lyrics. So, yeah, he wants me to go out of my way to explain every single reference, and that's just not going to happen. There are some cases where, sure, a little additional information might help deepen your understanding of the story. That being said, the majority of the times, like, I'm not going to go out of my way to over-explain something, knowing full well that a ton of people do know it, and they're going to be pissed off if I assume that they don't. I think he thinks too much about direct audience, and I'm just writing it for the general public, and it's one of those things like, a lot of these references, they're inside jokes. If you get it, great. You and I can connect on a slightly deeper level than those who don't. But he's looking at it as like, well, you're going to alienate your audience because they don't understand what you're saying. No. You ain't the audience. You are yourself. You feel alienated because you don't understand. The majority of people who read this, they'll get a lot of the references, and the ones they don't get, 50-50 whether or not they give a shit. They're just going to read the sentence, move on to the next one, not stop to think too deeply about what this means. Also, we live in a world of information. There are a lot of people that could, I still need to do more research into ebooks, but that is one thing I'm planning to do, make it an ebook. So a lot of people are going to be reading this on their tablet, and they're going to see me say something. They can just open up YouTube and split screen and watch a music video that I just mentioned or whatever. If my choice is between alienating the 20 to 30 people who have never heard of this band, or pissing off the 5 billion people who have heard every single song that this band has made, I'm going to choose to just alienate these few people over here, because like these are the people I'd rather reach anyways. And I can't just delete the references. That was something he suggested. If it doesn't help the story, delete it. But it does help the story. I need to talk about a lot of the different things that influenced and impacted and affected me growing up, because those things are the reason why I became the person I am, why I'm so enthralled with the media industry, and why I chose the career path that I am currently on. I can't just not write about it, pretend that none of these things existed, pretend that it wasn't a huge part of my life and why I became who I am. The music I listened to, the shows I watched, the movies I owned, all of those things had a huge impact on me. And I would be doing a disservice to ignore those completely. But, like I said, I'm not angry at him. I still consider him a fan. It's just that the more I read his review, the more I realize this book isn't for you. I mean, enjoy what you... Also, it might just be that my book is for everyone and for no one. I think it's possible that that's going to be a recurring theme with everyone who reads it, that maybe they'll enjoy part of it, but not another part of it. And that might just be the nature of the book, because that's kind of my personality in a nutshell, honestly. I've met like 3 people in my life that we love everything, like we love all the same music, all the same TV, all the same sports. I've met very few people that fit that scenario, so I'm kind of used to it. And so yeah, my book I might push it out sooner than expected. Maybe we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm almost done with this edit, and I've got one. I'm gonna edit it again after that, and then I'm gonna ask the other people, hey, why ain't you got back to me yet? And see if they point out anything else that I can improve the story, and I might get it out to you by September. Probably not. I'm aiming for October, but we'll see. And we'll also see what's happening with the comics. Book 1 is done, and there are some issues with the trademark. Basically, it appears that, from what my research has done, there's no point in getting a trademark unless you have a lawyer to do all the work for you. So I'm going to wait some of these things. Copyright is fairly easy, and I've got a lot of that stuff done. But there's some stuff that you can't copyright, right? You'd have to trademark. And I'm going to let some of it go. Well, there's one thing in particular, a title design, but honestly, like that one's not the most important part. Like, I've got copyright protection over characters and whatnot. Someone can steal my design if they want. I don't care. We can make a better one. But anyways, yeah, my foot's falling asleep. I have a feeling I will at some time too. Shit, I was gonna talk about something else, wasn't I? Oh yeah, 2 seconds. Fuck, why is it so far away? Yeah. I got a birthday present. I hadn't actually seen the movie yet, and I also haven't seen Avengers: Infinity War. Feel free to spoil all of it in the comments. I will not read any of them. I heard a lot of good things about this. I was worried at times, but you know what? This is only like the 3rd time in my life that a movie I saw actually lived up to the hype, and I loved it as much as everyone said I would. The other 2 times were Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Volume 2 sucked, and The Dark Knight, the Batman movie, Christopher Nolan. Yeah, this movie is great. And one thing I noticed that when people talk about this movie is that no one refers to it as a black superhero movie, which it is. It's a black movie. That being said, everyone loves it, and everyone's just saying it's one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. And I love that. You know, they're not just saying it's one of the greatest black superhero movies ever. It's one of the best superhero movies around. And I love that. It's great. Also, fuck you, Michael B. Jordan. I mean, I love the guy. He's an amazing actor, but he's too damn sexy. Now, being black has always been like a very sexy thing, just in general. It's something you can use to your advantage, really. But now, you know, we got people like Boseman and Jordan, you know, growing up, you know, guys like Shamar Moore and LL Cool J. You know what, I can't compete with that. I'm not that sexy. And now every girl like me is gonna look at me like, well, you're not Michael B. Jordan. So fuck you, Michael B. Jordan. Making my life harder. He's a talented actor, though. I would love to be in a movie with him. I'm not much of an actor, but I feel like I could definitely play like a crazy sidekick role. Or maybe I can just play the villain that never actually says a single word, but then I get a chance to punch him out. I'd love to punch Michael B. Jordan. He knows what he did. You know, I can't even sit up straight right now, so I'm probably gonna go ahead and turn this video off. Yeah, Autobiography should be coming in a few months, and then we're working on the comic books. Book 1, it's currently being colored. That's the final step, and other than that, no, we're done. And we'll move on to book 2, and I've got another series, we're still in the character development phase, but you know, the story's coming along really well. You know, once we get a couple things figured out, hopefully we can get that going. And yeah, also after the autobiography is done, I've actually got a second book, which is kind of like just zooming in on one section of that autobiography, and that'll be kind of like this little spin-off to it. But yeah, I'm gonna turn this thing off, and then I'm gonna go to bed. I've also been thinking, I'm looking into it. I don't know how much of this I'll actually do, but I'm looking into getting movies and my web series and stuff back up again. I'm worried about stretching myself too thin. I've already got so much on my plate. But if I was to do it, now would be the perfect time. So I'm just gonna take another couple weeks to think about that. But who knows? I might try the whole online content stuff again.